If landing your dream job is on the top of your to-do list, our next guest has some powerful tips on how you can catch the 2011 hiring wave. John Brubaker is the owner of Professional Resume Plus and joins me now. Welcome, John. It's great to have you.
Great to be here,
All right,
Jocelyn.
a lot of people need some advice as they're trying to, many people, as you know, are unemployed. So what is the picture for 2011?
Well, two things I would say about that. One is I think the environment for hiring is better than it's been in the last 2 years. I don't think there's any doubt about that. There's been bunches of tidbits of good news. The retail sales were up over last year. ADP had a record-breaking month in terms of payroll. But the most interesting thing that I have to offer is I have in the last week been on a conference call and in a meeting with entrepreneurs and business owners, about a dozen of them. Every single one of them felt clearly more optimistic about 2011 than either of the past 2 years. So for the people that are making the decisions, the people that are making the plans, they sense optimism and they sense that the economy is going to be better this coming year.
We did get some good news in the unemployment picture. Apparently, more and more people got jobs last month.
Yes. The thing I would also say about that, Jocelyn, is that even if the news isn't great for the country or for the state, it can be great for your viewers if they'll do certain things and sort of take charge of the situation and promote themselves the proper way.
So basically you're saying this is a good time for people to look for a job.
No doubt about it.
All right, let's take a look at what some of those areas are. You said you've been talking to some of these entrepreneurs.
Yes.
What areas are we talking about?
The folks that I've talked to have been in publishing, been in manufacturing, been in financial services, healthcare, pharmaceuticals. My advice to folks on areas is you really need to find an area that connects with your skills and your passion and your vision more than to sort of hunt around and try to find, quote-unquote, a good area.
So basically, if you have a skill set, you should really look to see how you can apply that to perhaps another industry?
That's one of the options. That's one of the strategies, sure.
Okay. So what types of jobs do you see the most growth? Specifically here in Connecticut, if you can pinpoint it.
Truthfully, that's not an area of expertise for me. Okay. So where I will come in is helping individuals go out and find something that they're going to be happy with and good at, and that, again, connects with their skills, their vision, their passion.
All right, let's take a look at some of your tips. The first tip you say is to rethink how you position yourself. Think of yourself as the solution. What do you mean by that?
What happens to one of the biggest problems that people run into in a job search, whether they're doing one with a job or whether they're unemployed, is they kind of get this feeling of, geez, I'm out there, I'm kind of a salesperson, I'm selling something, nobody wants to buy it, I'm not hearing back from anybody. And particularly people that have not been in sales, it seems very hostile.
Well, it's tough for people to sell themselves if they haven't done it before.
That's right. That's right. And so then you add to that the layer of negative news and everybody saying, "Oh, well, the economy's so bad," and that's a big problem. What I suggest to folks is to rethink the job search. Instead of you're out there trying to sell somebody on you, or you're out there like a salesman. You are, in fact, the solution to a company's problems. People get paid in our society for solving problems, and the bigger the problem, the bigger the pay. So surgeons get paid a lot, good criminal defense attorneys. So if you will rethink in terms of what can I solve in terms of a company's problem, whether it's in the sales area, service area, accounting, operations, and go into not only your search, your research, how you present yourself, but particularly in the interview, and exude being the solution to a company's problems.
So you really need to do your due diligence about the company and then present that possible solution.
We're in an age where it's easier than it has ever been to get information on companies. And people that do that are in such a big advantage. I have a very good friend of mine who owns 6 businesses, a highly successful entrepreneur. He's had a good corporate career. He's been in the military, very squared away guy. And he does research on candidates before he'll talk to them. He knows quite a bit about them before he'll interview them. The first question he asks in every interview is, what do you know about me and what do you know about my company?
All right.
And at that point, if you've done your research, you can shine. He's astonished in a tough economy how few people have really done even the most basic research.
That's right. I agree with that. All right. Number 2 tip, in-depth research on the company and people within it, which we just talked about.
Well, not only through Google, but also I think LinkedIn is a tremendous resource. LinkedIn.com, if your viewers have not started with that, it's kind of the professionals' version of Facebook. And people have their profiles. You can do research. You can find your way to getting introduced to somebody in a company. I had a client of mine who was in his late 50s, did a highly successful search where I think he ended up getting about 8 or 10 interviews, got a $150,000 a year job that was not advertised, and all of his interviews were gained through this LinkedIn, him getting references from one to the next. But you can research, you can know so much about the person interviewing you. It's a huge advantage.
Exactly. And networking, of course, always something we need to consider.
Mm-hmm.
The third tip you have is use the problem-solving concept in your cover letter and interview. What do you mean by that?
The mindset of being a problem solver, it's a totally different way of looking at job searching. Now, on the cover letter, I have a little bit different take on that. I don't go heavy on the problem solving methodology in there. But in the resume, what your viewers want to do is to connect with where they were at their best professionally. I have people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and there's usually some period of time when they were really in a high production zone. You want to go back to that, and you want to recreate that magic in your resume through powerful achievement statements and examples. And from doing that, it not only distinguishes you, but it also, again, reconnects you with that energy.
So you need to say something about what you were able to accomplish at one of those positions, such as #1 sales person in this department. Something like that?
Well, that's fine, but you see, most folks don't have easily accessible numbers. So there's a temptation to think, well, I don't have a 12% increase to show. I don't have this, so I don't have anything I can show. That's totally wrong.
So how would you rephrase that?
Anecdotes. You get into those magical moments, whether it was solving a problem, whether it was saving a customer, whether it was saving the day on a project, whether it was being part of an important project for the company, and you write, we call them achievement highlights or bullet points, that really explain what the situation was and the value that you added, and that is really going to distinguish. More than anything else, that will enhance and juice a resume. I had a guy several years ago that came to see me, was trying to get into pharmaceutical sales, and he had spent 6 months and had one phone interview from the whole thing. It was a pretty good resume. We reoriented the resume on the basis of this methodology you and I are talking about. The first 5 ads he responded to, Monster Career Builder ads, he got interviews, he got 2 offers, he's been fabulously successful. So this is a very powerful tip.
So you do that in the resume, and then when you come into the interview, you re-emphasize those strengths.
You have at your disposal 3, 4, 5, 6 anecdotes that you've really rehearsed, that you can say, you know, Mr. Interviewer, I'm glad you mentioned that because it reminds me of a time, and again, you're reconnecting with that energy, and you're talking about how you can use your skills to solve their problems.
I found interesting what you said earlier about what you do. You have 3 things that you love about what you do. If you could share that to everybody, I think that this is something that we all need to be doing.
I feel I'm a very blessed man. I have a wonderful wife. That was one thing, but that wasn't one of the 3. But I have a job that I'm good at, that I love to do, that helps people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those 3 things, something we should all think about as we look at other options in our lives.
It's a beautiful thing. And if people that move in the direction of their dreams, their vision, and their passion, in the long run are going to be a lot happier.
All right, John Brubaker, thanks so much for joining us. I think your information is going to help so many people out there.
Very grateful to have the opportunity, Jocelyn.
You're welcome. All right.